One night before my mother got home from work, I was in bed trying to go to sleep. I swear it sounded like a dresser fell over upstairs, but a dresser never fell down. It was just...
I don't think so. I think it's just
the
loud
sound
sounds.
of it.
Because the little things on the floor like laugh about it. I think it's funny.
I don't think the little things on the floor do it. I think
Yeah.
there's something bigger in your house that the little
You think
things
it's funny.
think it's funny.
Yeah.
So when I said nothing ever actually fell down in your house, it was just the noise, I heard in Em's voice in my head, the definition of a poltergeist is noisy ghost.
Yeah, this thing is saying it's a big bad man. Hi, I'm Em!
And I'm Liv, and we're your Meta PsycKicks. We've done 2 listener stories now. This will be the 3rd. Are you ready? It's gonna be great.
Also, if you don't know what listener stories are, we are psychic mediums, and we like to ask our listeners for their paranormal, spiritual stories, and we read into the stories to tell you if what they're talking about actually happened. So if you guys want to get in on the next one, we'll have a link in the description below, and you can add your paranormal or spiritual or whatever that relates to our content stories. Just make sure they're original, because I won't read them.
Yeah. I mean,
So.
I didn't... What is that? What's that really cool school? Juilliard? We're not saying this is our audition to Juilliard, but it also could be.
For what?
Juilliard? Juilliard is like the school you go to, I think it's in New York City, where if you want to become a performer, actor, and like anything super cool that's like thespian related, that's where you go. And
How
it's
is this related?
Well, because we're gonna read listener stories and we're gonna do it in the most thespian related way possible.
So, the first one is titled, Using a Ouija Board in 1992.
Was it illegal to do that in 1992?
No, just licking doorknobs is illegal.
Oh, okay.
Maybe something SpongeBob said will give you some kind of clue.
Remember, licking doorknobs is illegal on other planets.
No, not that.
So this is brought to you by Jen L. Hi, I really enjoy your content. Ouija has always been a bit of a mystery to me, even though we had one in with the board games my entire childhood.
Just like casually sitting there in like the TV console.
It is a board game.
Is that what you would define it as?
It's in the board game section at the bookstore.
We need to retitle our Ouija board video. It needs to be board game or divination tool.
Or we can make another Ouija board video where we actually play Ouija. I had an encounter with my friend when I was 12 years old. It's the only time I ever used a board. I use many other divination tools. I fear Ouija, and not because of what I've been told, but what I experienced.
Ah.
My friend and I went into the basement bathroom. It completely closes to darkness. We were on the floor and the lights were out. Both of us with fingers on the planchette, and we asked if my uncle was there. No opening or closing ceremony. The planchette started to move. We both started asking each other if the other was pushing, and we both stated no. We couldn't see the board. It was pitch black and creepy. I think that's the only way to do Ouija.
I think that's
Well, if you're looking at it, you have too much ego and it doesn't move.
That's a good point. But also, how are you supposed to see where it's going?
Flashlight.
Oh, a flat. Okay.
So I shut up and turned the light on, and the planchette was directly over the word no. We were both super creeped out, and we left that area for the rest of the night, not to return to the board. I always felt super weird about the space and really didn't spend much time in the basement as I grew up. Later in life, I find myself living in the space. I have cleansed and have protection and altars throughout the space. I still feel the necessity to keep the door to the bathroom shut if I'm outside of it, and I rarely close myself fully in it. I feel like maybe I opened a portal, ? I have absolutely no one to discuss how to close something I opened a lifetime ago. I was wondering if you could help me with some ideas. I have no access to the board that I used in 1992. I would love to hear your take on this.
That's really hilarious. Number one, why do you go into a basement of all freaking places?
You know, the basement's just a really comforting place to be.
Why don't you do it in the kitchen, in the living room, in your bedroom?
Because you can't open portals in nice areas.
Only basements?
Scary areas.
Oh, okay.
And in the dark.
Is that why there's like a pentagram that's slightly washed off the floor at like the Sally house that Sam sat on?
Well, they probably
Because
are.
that's the only way to put a pentagram is in the basement, like a Ouija board. I don't know why you would... Well, okay. I've read stuff where like people say that Ouija boards don't work because, or are not plausible because you have like tiny human micro movements, and when you are trying to get answers for things, your hands will go where you want them to go. But they say that when you take away sight and you're using a Ouija board, then people's accuracy goes down. So the fact that you guys weren't looking at the Ouija board and it still landed over no makes me uncomfortable.
Well, yeah, if you're a psychic medium, doesn't it move? Who's moving it?
Oh, I don't, well, I don't.
Is it the uncle?
No.
Oh, no.
I don't think so. Well, most children go into a bathroom and turn off the lights to play Bloody Mary, but you literally took a Ouija board in the bathroom.
Okay.
I don't know. If I was 12, I'd be like, I don't want to put a Ouija... Well, one, I would not want to play with a Ouija board because my mother scared me about it. But two, I wouldn't do it in a bathroom because I think I was like 9 or 10 and I went to a sleepover.
And they played with a Ouija board?
No, they played Bloody Mary in the bathroom.
Okay.
I did not take part. I was too busy being a scaredy cat in the corner. I was the one girl that no one
You were
else
the
wanted
only
to
one
play with.
seeing Bloody Mary?
I don't think so, but I was highly terrified and did not want them to turn off the
technically,
light.
we talk about the creative conscious. Bloody Mary exists. Does that make you feel any better?
Well, yes and no.
Did she make a portal?
I don't think she made a portal, no.
Me either. Then what was moving it?
Well, I don't know because I feel like on my right hand side there's like a dude, but I don't think it's your uncle. I'm not sure. But then there's also a woman on my left hand side, and I feel like the woman is the one that moved the planchette because she's associated with the house somehow. She's like an older woman, and she's telling me I'm not that old. I think maybe she died when she was young, but she just looks old because that's how old she would be like normally. Because sometimes when I talk to spirits, they'll age progress themselves to however
Does she have dark
they are.
hair?
Not that I see.
You see her with gray hair?
No, with like blonde hair.
Okay, then I don't see her.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think you opened a portal though. I
Well,
think
I mean-
I think your brain is just traumatized by the experience, and now you're really upset that something
By
could
a
be in
spirit
there.
saying, no, I'm not your uncle. I'm someone else.
Yeah, when I
Should have been like, who are you? Then he made me less spooked.
Yeah, when Em read no, I felt like it was just another human soul that was like, not like... That's like my casual term for a skittery entity instead of like...
that's what you mean.
It's just like...
Next story.
Okay! The ghost was having a jolly old time, which makes me happy. Is it Santa?
Probably not. You need to understand that I title these.
I know.
You think darkness itself is gonna give you a nice, happy title.
Well, it doesn't say darkness, oh, you mean you are darkness itself.
Yeah.
So does this mean that it's cynical and that a jolly good old time means like things are actually yeeting themselves across the room? Because I was thinking Santa Claus. My friend's apartment was haunted. The radio would come on in the middle of the night, things would disappear, then apport back to and fall noiselessly to the floor. There were weird smells and jangling of the doorknob in the back bedroom. My friend slept on the couch and let whatever it was have the room. It just says it have the room, but...
Well, they don't know what it is.
Well, maybe that's the first mistake.
Be the boogeyman.
I figured it had something to do with a Ouija board session we had done when she first moved in. Some dude said he was hung for wrestling cattle or horses. I don't remember which one it was. It seemed plausible for Cheyenne, Wyoming. It was still there years later. She just tolerated it. One night I went over there and she was livid. Some family issues had erupted and the quote ghost was having a jolly old time banging and jostling all the doorknobs. I was stoked. I'd never seen, heard, or smelled anything paranormal while awake before. Finally, she had us leave to get some food. A couple years later, I was going through a traumatic breakup and my daughter and I went to spend the night over at my friend's. We were in the back bedroom. I don't recall even thinking about the ghost when I went to sleep. It was not an issue. When I woke up the next morning, I realized a black mass was trying to cover me. Casual. Without thinking, I grabbed it. What? Rolled it into a ball and threw it against the wall. It was all done out of body. I've had many OBE experiences. I sat up and went into the living room to tell everybody I had just thrown a shadow figure against the wall. They looked at me like, yeah, whatever, and went back to what they were doing. Anticlimactic bullshit! Never cared about my superpower. Nobody ever cared about my superpower. I mean, if it really was this guy who was wrestling cattle and horses and got hanged for it, and you like literally Hulk Hogan smashed this dude against the wall ethereally, I'm here to just be like, encore! Do it again! Just, you know what I'm saying? That's hilarious.
So, do you see the man?
Violet, do you have a WWE mask? Sorry. Do I see the man? Yes.
Do you see the dark thing?
Yes, and I think that it is different than the man.
Yes. They are two different things, but she said there's a man and I see a man.
Yeah.
But I don't think the man's moving things.
No.
I think the man... Did you figure out the man was there with a Ouija board?
I see him standing around two girls that are like on the floor with a Ouija board, although I feel like they were actually using it on a table.
So was he the one moving the Ouija board?
Yes.
Okay, then why is there this dark thing there? Was the dark thing there before?
I think the dark thing is associated with the negative stuff that was going on in your friend's life. So it just decided to be like, I can be obnoxious here. But when you came over to like chill out, you remember it. Everyone else in the house has just kind of like ignored it. So I feel like that was its last hurrah of trying to cause problems.
Well, I think she's sensitive.
Yeah.
So that's why she astral projected out of body Kung Fu Panda smash.
She whooshy finger holded that thing.
Delaware smash.
Take this! Delaware smash!
Great. You literally actually put it into another dimension.
So,
that really was a jolly good time. But I feel like the reason it decided to mess with you years later when you slept over is because for that long period of time, even though someone may have been giving it energy with the negativity that was going on in their life, they recognized what was going on and are like, we don't care. So there wasn't that much for it to do, because if it's going to continue to try and get energy from people, it knows it's not going to get it by scaring it. It can only get it by the things that are happening like happenstancely in their life or situationally in their life. But when you came back, you remembered that it was there. Like, you have a past knowledge that it was there. Even though when you were there, you said you forgot about it, it knows that you know about it. So it was like, this is my last chance. I've been keeping all of these acorns of negative energy for so long. Now I'm going to eat them like pokey food and like maybe try to evolve and scare you. And if I scare you, then I'll be able to get more energy and maybe start around again in this house and scare some people. But you were like, yeah, hoo, ha, yeah. Like, put on your spiritual what is it, luchador mask, and we're like, yeah! Which is great. I'm sorry, I've never heard of that before, and I 100% approve.
okay, next story. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, this one's called The Alien Encounter.
Man, why do you always gotta do aliens?
I didn't submit the story.
Yeah, but you gotta read it.
Isabel S. Thank you for the story. So, it started with my boyfriend, as he would say, and his alien encounter. In our bedroom one night, he was awake and I was asleep. He said that something started to turn the doorknob, and that's when he felt like he couldn't move at all, and something really large peeked its head in our bedroom. And it was tall, and he described it as alien looking. And he could hear it shuffling across the carpet, and it came to my side and looked at me. After that, I bought a camera for inside and a Rottweiler. Mentally, I was a little disturbed after that for a little and just scared to sleep every night. So then another less horrifying experience, but still weird thing happened to me after getting that camera for inside my house. I had it film the outside of my door and top of the stairs, and I literally saw at least 28 orbs flying all around, but they all seemed to be going into the bedroom. I invoked Archangel Michael, and within 30 seconds, they were all gone. I had an iPad that showed live footage. The old house I used to live in had a very distinct energy in this one room. I honestly never really ever liked being in there, and I even had a friend sleep in there, and they said they heard someone whisper their name. I'm thinking, like, was that room a portal? Also, another night in the same house I lived in a safe gated community, and one night we had a large bang and it was like 12 at night, and then we heard it again, this time on our garage door and then all around the house. But we had fences and a gate, and it would be impossible for a human to run around the house that fast, jumping the fence also. Yeah, that house had a weird energy. Sucks for whoever is dealing with that now, but I'm happy to be out of there.
That was a whirlwind of things that I don't know how to unpack sequentially. I don't know, something about that room freaks me out. I feel like maybe somebody that lived there before was spiritually eclectic and made that room be weird. Because they're showing me like a closet, and the closet is really weird in the room. I feel like when you walk in the room, there's windows to the back of it, and then there's a closet to the right. But there's also like one of those closets where the doors swing open on the left. So I don't know what the thing on the right is the thing that's scary. It's really hard to do readings when no one's here to tell me what I'm seeing, if it's like actually real.
You don't see all the people? I hear a lot of voices.
I feel like the person that whispered in your friend's ear was a woman.
Well, I feel like there's more than just a woman.
Oh yeah.
There's like a woman, 2 men. I don't know. Those are the ones that I can see. But I feel like there's a lot of people talking all at once. Do you see those people?
It makes me feel overwhelmed and like slightly dizzy.
Well, because there's a lot of things happening in the house. Because there's a lot of energy in the house. Because I feel like this house has similar energy to like...
The Conjuring house?
No.
No, the Sally house?
No.
What
like
house?
an apartment where there's lots of people around, so there's a lot of other people's energy that are associated with things. That's what it feels like. And it might be because you're in a gated community, so there's a lot of people around your house. But I don't know. It just feels like there's a lot going on. Does that make sense?
I don't know how to explain it though.
What do you mean?
I don't know why there would be so many people in one house. I mean, I know you said because there's people in the gated community, but I'm not sure. I don't know if it has anything to do with the gated community.
Well, I think it's just there's a lot of people within this community. So they bring all of their things along with them.
Is that why my house is noisy?
Kind of. They're telling me it's yes and no. It's not just the people around you, it's the people that lived in your house.
Do you think it's the same thing with this?
Well, yes.
Okay.
You're saying yes.
Because if I'm picking up on things that are like things that have happened in the house, which is what has brought stuff to the house, but you're picking up on the stuff outside of the house that brings things to the house.
It just sounds like there's a whole bunch of people in the house talking.
I think asking what Archangel Michael to come and do some karate for you.
Did he do it?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
What were those orbs actually spirits? I've never seen an orb be like a spirit and not just like a bug or dust, you know?
Well, when you mentioned orbs, I didn't see orbs of just one color. I saw orbs of like multiple colors. I don't know what your video footage showed, if it showed color, but it makes me uncomfortable that you had Archangel Michael come in and do some karate to make things go away, and then you had things banging on your house from the outside. That makes me feel like very uncomfortable because they were like, let me in! You know, like when you shut the door to the bathroom and your cat's like, ah!
It is like your house.
I want to do this one because it's called Just Ignore It, and that's kind of been my motto for a while.
So whose story is it?
Allison C. Thank you for sending in your submission of your spoopy story. And if you want to know, Em named it Just Ignore It. But we didn't ignore you. So,
Wow.
Allison says, I lived in a house with my mother around age 14 that I had some strange experiences in. Things moved, lights turned themselves on, and the worst things were the bangs. When you say bangs, it makes me think about like Justin Bieber when he had bangs. I don't have bangs right now, but if you want to see some bad ones, watch some past videos. Well, you didn't like my hair?
Well, I'm just talking to the things in her house. They're like on the ground. They're this big. And they like bounce and move through the house. Right now they look like balls of energy, but they're telling me that they don't want me to see them.
Are they goblins?
Are they?
I don't know. The souls of the dust bunnies you vacuumed up. How do you feel
I don't
now?
know, they're telling me they might be goblins, but I don't know if I believe it. Because I'm also talking to a weird dark ball of energy, so.
It just runs around. He's got Nikes.
So I don't know if they're telling me the truth or not, but they're like this big. And
That's
they
pretty
like
big.
hop. And they think they're funny. They're like trickstery funny, not like, I'm going to put doom on your family. You know?
Wow. Do they have bangs?
They look like balls of energy. Like, you can't see us because don't believe. Sorry.
One night before my mother got home from work, I was in bed trying to go to sleep. I swear it sounded like a dresser fell over upstairs, so I pulled the covers up and thankfully fell asleep. Same girl. I eventually got used to the bangs, but it was unnerving. Once my mother was there to hear it too. She looked at me and asked, "What was that?" And I said, "Just ignore it." It sounded like someone hit the house with a sledgehammer. Was it the man that had lived there before us? I don't think so.
What side is left for you? What is left?
Left is in the physical world.
Okay, I can hear out of that ear. What's that?
Maybe they're just screaming at you because they don't want you to know. But I don't think it was the man, because the first thing I heard when I read, was it the man that had lived there before us? I heard a guy go, I used to experience the same stuff too, but I just ignored it.
There's something that I'm not perceiving. Well, I am perceiving it.
Well, let me take off my funny hat really quick and put on my medium hat.
Uh-huh.
But a dresser never fell down. It was just...
I don't think so. I think it's just
the
loud
sound
sounds.
of it.
Because the little things on the floor, like, laugh about it. I think it's funny.
I don't think the little things on the floor do it. I think
Yeah.
there's something bigger in your house that the little
think
things
it's funny.
think it's funny.
Yeah.
So when I said nothing ever actually fell down in your house, it was just the noise, I heard in Em's voice in my head, the definition of a poltergeist is noisy ghost.
Yeah, this thing is saying it's a big bad man.
Yeah, I don't think it's a man though. I just see
Yeah.
blackness, and I think the reason you're getting that like screeching in your left ear, the way it feels clairsentiently, does it feel like a big, dark, heavy mass? Like almost like cotton, if you were to put cotton in your ear?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I hear the same thing.
I
think
literally
it's just
have
a
this thing
poltergeist.
that's talking to me, and it's like not even a foot tall.
Yeah. Does
he's
it have a
telling me about
high-pitched noise when it talks?
Yes. He
Yeah.
says, don't make fun of him. He's like, I'm doing this to be nice.
Yeah, I see him as like a little goblin. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. That's what he looks like.
yeah, he looks different than that to me, but I like that one because it makes fun of him. The cartoon one. I feel like the poltergeist that's in the house has to do with like the little things that are here. Yeah, the little thing in front of me is telling me that it comes from the same place that where he comes from, which is why they're in the house. Because
Got you.
whatever this thing is not like very sentient. It kind of just like bangs around everywhere a little bit.
Yeah, it's just most people think poltergeists are like manifestations of people's negative energy. So it's like if you are a little bit sensitive, a little bit like a psychic medium, but you like don't believe that you are, and you have like depression and all of these things, your energy creates a noisy ghost that is a poltergeist. That is not like a sentient thing. It's just your energy bouncing around things.
We should just make a video on poltergeist, because I feel like there's a lot of things when it comes to those. I feel like the one that was in, what was her name? The listener stories that we just did before this one, where the girl, Hulk Hogan smashed the poltergeist. I feel like that was a poltergeist that's associated with like physical human things that are drawn to you because of the circumstances in your life. But I feel like this one is like from a different place, which is why it's so not consistent and doesn't do anything besides pretend to knock down dressers.
Got you.
And that's why the little goblins are like, it's just annoying.
A big bad man. If you want to get in on the next one and you want to hear more stories, go to our podcast, because we're going to do different stories on our podcast. But if you want to get in on the next one, link is in the description below.
To send us your spoopy story.
And if you like this content, make sure to subscribe, because we do content like this all the time.
Every Wednesday.
And we'll see you guys in the next one.
We are your Meta PsycKicks.
look at these beautiful patrons.
Not to
Well,
say
there's
this
this
is a
weird
goblin.
spiritual man here that's telling me about the land, because there's just a lot of people that had died on the land, which is why it's very spiritually charged. And they said that they did a lot of things to cover it up. I don't know what that means.
The government, you mean?
The people who were in charge of the land.
Yeah. Well, I assume if you're literally digging up graves to put water.
But yeah, the reason why you feel weird in the basement is because there is a whole bunch of people looking at you.